Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I'm going to talk about something, I guess like a topic or a subject that is really tricky for, I think, a lot of people. And when you hear this word dominance, you kind of go down this like negative type rabbit hole, as opposed to what dominance is. And I believe that dominance is something that I just want to talk about in a way today that, I mean, I can keep talking about this forever. It's another very fascinating topic that I really like to be able to talk about, because it comes down to something that I just see that I think that people get confused with. And it comes down to the concept of, can you force your dominance over somebody? Does that work? And what is dominance in the sense of its true nature? When we look at these dogs, we see them in group packs. We see that one is, say, above or ahead or whatever of the others. One's controlling the rest. So you could say that one is dominant over the other. But the thing is, I think that a lot of us are really getting confused with here is thinking on the concept that that dog is forcing its dominance upon that other dog, as opposed to the dog is submitting willingly because it understands that that dog is the one that's, say, in control, the one that's just more. The words I want to use here is this. Something about us as humans. This is where it's going to get complicated, because people believe that you could force your dominance upon the dog. You could force it to sit. You could force it to calm down. You could force it to lay down. You could say, you better submit to me. That works, but it doesn't give you, I'm going to tell you what it is that you're looking for, because the main thing behind that is you can never allow that animal to just be free. As soon as that animal catches a sliver bit of freedom, it's gone. And that's why you put it in the backyard and it's gone. You take it somewhere, you take it off leash in a place like this and it's gone, because you are trying to force your dominance upon that dog, not allowing that dog to do what's natural in it to want to submit to you because of who you are. And this is the thing that a lot of the words that I would say when it comes down to dominance, because this is a horrible thing that I constantly keep on hearing, especially in the whole man's video stuff of how to get dating and get a wife, and the woman better submit to you or you should just not even deal with a woman. But the biggest thing is, who are you for something or somebody to submit to? Are you consistent? Are you persistent? Do you have a beginner's mind? Are you accountable? Are you available? Are you on time? Are you someone that does what they say? A lot of this stuff makes up who you are. And if you are all of these things, you're selfless. You have self-control. You are slow to anger. You are fruitful in your ways of what it is that you're trying to accomplish on this planet. All of those characteristics are going to have somebody and something come to you and wants to submit to you because they see who you are. They can trust your judgment. And the biggest thing here is that word trust. You can never allow something to submit to you if it doesn't trust you, because that's what's going to make it always, always, always want to constantly keep wanting to run away from you. And you have to start asserting more dominance over that particular thing to make it want to stay. And that's why you can't just relax and just let them go. That's why men that are doing this to women, you can't just allow your wife to go to work, because she's going to go there and she's going to go and find something else, be with something else, because it's just in them to have to do, because you're trying to force them to be with you. You can't force dominance. You have to just be what you want. And then the things will come and they will want to submit to you. This is the thing with me, with my dogs. Am I dominant over them? Yes. But they are willing to submit to me because of who I am. I'm consistent. I always worried about and expressing, seeing their needs. I'm always giving them what they're looking for, what they desire. I'm always paying very close attention to everything about them to make sure that I'm giving to them more than, at the end of the day, in reality, straight up, I'm giving to myself. That's what dominance is about. The dominant animal in the pack is going to go out and sacrifice itself to get more food for the group. It's going to do everything it can to make sure that everyone else is doing good. It's not looking at it in the sense of, what can you give me? And you better give me, give me, give me. It's, what can I do for you? What can I be able to offer to be able to make sure that you're going to be good to go? That's what being dominant over is. Whereas a lot of people today are looking at this dominance as some sort of like dictator, some sort of ruler. And you guys all better bow down to me. And you guys all better do what I say or else. That's what I see, unfortunately, what dog training represents. You better do or else. You got no choice. I'm the dictator. I'm the enforcer. I'm the ruler. You better submit to me. And again, you would never ever, when you're working, because this is why, straight up, peoples, when it comes down to some dog training stuff, give me a dog trainer that'll come here right now and bring their dog and just let it be loose, let it be free. take all the stuff off of it and just let it stay, let it hang out here. I'm not trying to brag and say I know it all, because I know simple non-dog trainers, people that could do what I'm doing right now. But the professionals that are trying to tell us how to have our dogs in a dictatorship type way, they can't even imagine doing something simple that I do every single day, that I'm just hanging out and I'm just living the same way I see many other people doing the exact same stuff. And we just live with our animals because we're not trying to dominate them in a sense of rulership. We're dominate them because of what we do, because of who we are, because it's the natural way of things. I am looking out for the best of everything that's around me. I'm not focused upon what can I get. Things will naturally always want to submit to a person like that. And that's something that a lot of guys, I believe, just don't quite, oh man, it's going to be tricky to cross here. Give me a second. That's something that a lot of people just, I believe, are missing out on when it comes down to, especially in a dating sense, but especially just working with these simple dogs. Because you think that something should automatically submit to you because of who you are. You're a man, it should submit to me. You're a woman, the dog should submit to me. And that is just not the way that it works. It comes down to who you are, not what you do. What you do, what you do in the sense of slapping the leash on the dog and just constantly just putting the pressure upon it to you better, you better, you better, you better, you better. Because thinking about this scenario right here, this is a scenario that, I don't know why I was thinking about it, but there's many movies out there about this scenario that really just make it easy to understand. There's movies about it because it happens in real life. And the concept of the man kidnaps the woman and he keeps the woman locked up in the basement or in a backyard shelter or something, in a backyard shed. The man kidnaps her, and at first, what is the woman doing? I don't want you, I don't want you, I don't want you, get away from me, get away from me, get away from me. But through time, what starts to happen is that woman starts to get loyal to that man. She starts to really actually like show a deep appreciation for the man. She starts to be willing to do whatever the man is asking for. But is that out of because she wants to, or is it because she was forced to? And then what starts to happen is the woman can even start to become so loyal to that guy that she will start to do crazy stuff for him. This has happened so many times, unfortunately, in our history. And there's just so many movies about this that it's probably happening way more than we really think about it is. Like maybe not to the extreme that these dudes are literally keeping the women in the basement, but literally just your normal day-to-day activities. This is what's going on. You're keeping people on lockdown. You're keeping people suppressed. You're keeping people shut down. You're forcing them through a level of fear to make them say respect and be below you. And you are the one that's dominant over. These people start to get really loyal. They'll do crazy stuff for these guys. But what happens is, this is the same story, pretty much every single one of these, especially when it comes down to just say a simple movie sense, but a lot of these movies are like from real events or whatever. But the second that the guy says, okay, let's go to town. Let's go, let me take you out into public because you're so loyal to me and you're so amazing and everything is good with you. You know, I trust you, let's go somewhere. The second that the first time he goes, what happens? That woman running. She's begging, she's crying for help, she's asking anyone can. She's on a mission to get the heck out of there. She wants nothing to do with being around that guy. Because the second that she actually had a sliver of freedom, she's like, okay, I'm going to do everything I can to try to change the scenario that's going on with me. I wasn't loyal because I was really wanting and desiring you. I was loyal because I was terrified what you would do to me when I was under your control. But as soon as I'm not in your control, now I'm going to go off and I gotta get the heck out of here. I see this so much, and this is a thing that I personally just see with like going on my my local neighborhood app Nextdoor thing. There's like 5 or more missing dogs every day, every single day. People are opening up their back door and letting the dog out to go to the bathroom, and the dog is gone because you gave that dog a sense of freedom. And that dog is gone. They want nothing to do with coming back home. And the unfortunate thing is, it just keeps happening over and over and over and over again. The dogs want nothing to do with being under that control. They do not want to be forced into submitting, but they want to be able to naturally submit because of who you are as being the quality leader that they should be looking up to. Kahi, out. Out. Kahi, out. All right, you don't got it no more. All right, get going. I can't have him chewing because he stops the walking. We walking, guys. We ain't chewing. We got a mission right now to do. But the thing is, the people and the animals need to be able to trust who it is that they're under, say, the control of. That's why nothing wants to listen to you if you're having to use the sense of force them to have to submit to you. Everything on this planet, not everything, but everything on this planet, straight up, if you are what you want to say that you are confident, you are accountable, you are consistent, you are a person that stands up when things aren't going right, when you don't just quick to run away and you are getting into something that troubles you and you go head first into it and you deal with it. A person like that, everything around you will want to submit to you, will want to take your leadership, will want to take orders from you, and won't even fight back, won't have a hesitation of saying anything negative back. They'll say, oh, okay, let's go, let's do this. Because most people and most dogs are actually incapable of being able to do such a thing. When a sticky situation, so this is the biggest thing. When a dog gets scared, the dog should know, I got this. There's nothing for you to be scared of. I'm going to help you out through this. That's where the dog is going to go into submission and say, okay, I'm scared, but you got it, so we're going to be okay. As opposed to taking its sense of dominance of, I'm going to bark, 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 and lunge and go crazy. It has to do that when it doesn't trust that the person with them is strong enough to be able to do anything for them. This is just what I constantly keep seeing over and over and over again. Everyone is using these high levels of dominance over these dogs in such a negative way. You're trying to dominate through fear, and you can't. It's just, I would love to see it, folks. Just dominate through fear and show me something that is just like nice. Like I just even use this word to make it simple. Mediocre. I don't even care if it's like the best of the best, but show me dominance through fear, that something is mediocre looking, that you can be able to just simply go somewhere, do something easy, just a walk around the block without having to worry and not being on edge, but just grabbing a dog and going. I'm almost gonna guarantee that can't nobody do that. Because I see the people with the videos with the so-called, I got my sports dog walking around and I got it doing what it's doing, but the dog is on edge. It's in fear of, if I mess up, something's gonna happen. It's in fear if I do this, they're gonna do something to me. As opposed to the dog just being happy-go-lucky, knowing that everything is fine. That's the thing that I think that people are confused and missing in. You're seeing these dogs that are under fear to submit, and you're thinking that it's what you want. But you're not realizing what that does. That creates a dog that is always going to want to run away from you. It's not going to want to be nowhere near you. And that's why you have no choice but to train stuff into the dog to get it to be able to be with you. Because the second that there's no, like said, consequence for it not coming back to you, it's not going to come back to you. Like for my dogs here in specific, and all my dogs at the end of the day, I don't have a consequence for them not coming back because they always come back. They always come right back to me. They always look right at me and just say, hey, what's up, buddy? Let's go do this. There's no consequence behind it. There's no, you're going to get in trouble if you don't come to me. There's none of that. It's just, you're going to because it's what's in best interest because, say, the leader, the dominant one of the pack, has decided that's what we're doing right now. And the dominant one of the pack isn't going to strip and take away everything from the dog and not allow it to do anything at all. That's the thing that, again, a lot of men run into with women. You think you need to be dominant over your woman. You got to tell her what to do. You got to tell her how to dress. You got to tell her what to eat. You got to tell her where to work. You got to tell her what to do. That is a disgusting leader. That is why most people and most unfortunate dudes are struggling today in a simple relationship because you think that that's what you need from a woman to keep her to stay, say, loyal. You will keep her loyal when she's under control. But the second that she's able to have like 2 ounces of a little bit of freedom, she gone. And she ain't gonna want to be nowhere near you because that is just toxic. And that's what goes on. And that's like a direct representation of these dogs. These dogs are the exact same way. Folks, I just don't know pretty much many, if any. I know one person so far, I see her with her dogs that they just don't want to run away. Everyone's dogs that I see, you just let it off leash somewhere, it is gone. It don't want to be nowhere near you. It is moving. It's going to take you an hour, 2 hours to try to get that dog to come back to you. And it'll start playing these trickery games when you try to stop and put the leash on the dog. You're playing these games. That's a key indicator to me that dog is not submissive to you at all. It doesn't care at all to be under your leadership. It's looking at you in a way of trying to find some new leadership because yours is just the most, I guess, ruthless, but best word I could use is weak. Your leadership is weak In most cases, it happens because we don't do what we say. That's the first stages of where trust is going to start to be lost. You're saying to the animal or to the dog, I'm going to take you for a walk, and then you don't do it. I'm going to take you here and do this, and then you don't do it. I'm going to sit down and hang out with you for a moment, and you don't do it. You keep not doing things that you say you're going to do. That is the first part where all that trust is going to go away, that dog is like, I got no reason to submit to you. Who the heck are you? You don't follow through with anything. And that's something that it doesn't come down to just feeding the dogs today anymore. You know, we can sit here and look at these wolf packs and all this and how they act and think that our dogs, domesticated dogs inside of our houses, are still on the same programming as them. They're not on the same programming anymore. These dogs are no longer just sleeping and eating and just surviving. Our dogs are now thriving the same way that we as humans are. Just the same I can say with us, with like even having children. We used to have children to survive. And we had to have 8 kids because we needed 8 kids to work the farm with us to be able to eat tonight. We no longer are living this way. We are now living in a thriving society. And some people might get a little, your money tight right now and you're like, I ain't so thriving, I'm just surviving. But we are surviving as a total on the entire world in reality compared to where we've ever been in the history of life. We are now thriving. And what makes that complicated is the more we're thriving, the more certain people want to make others go back into survival because they have this, I don't know why, some people just have this mindset, again, of horrible dominance when they just want to put everything and everybody into fear so that they have to listen to them so that they can control them and not allow them to just be able to just live and just be happy and just be chill and just be content. And that's just I don't know why, but it's a weird thing on why we have people like that. But I see it, that they're trying to force all of us in reality to be that exact same way. And this is just what I see all the time, every day, when I'm just looking and interacting with people. I just see how someone thinks and feels and puts it in them that I could dominate over you because of my gender, because of my age, because of anything. You just think that you have that because that's just what you are. Because of, my goodness, unfortunately, your color even. People think that they have the right to dominate people because of these things. And it has nothing to do with what you look like. It has everything to do with what it is that you're able to do for the people and the things around you. It has nothing to do with your looks, your age, your gender, your nothing. But that's how our society is set up, thinking that I'm this color so I could tell you what to do. I'm this gender, I could tell you what to do. Who are you to question and challenge and talk back to me? And then you use that level of fear. You'll start hitting something. You'll start manipulating something in such an evil way that they have no choice but to submit. You start to do things like that to get them to like, yeah, shut up, you better bow down to me. And that is what I see goes on so much when it comes down to some, say, simple even dog training today. We're trying to force our dominance and not allow the dogs to do the role that they're supposed to do, is be submissive, because they're no longer surviving, they're thriving. Our dogs are requiring a different level of life than what a wolf is in the natural environment of just running around doing what they're doing. Those wolves are living, I would say it at the end of the day, straight up, a much easier life than what our domesticated dogs are living with. Because our domesticated dogs today are no longer having to worry about I just need to eat and I just need to go on. Now they're fed. Now they're overfed. My goodness, most all dogs I see today are overfed. Now they have no need to go walk 18 miles to go find some food. Now they have no need to have to worry about getting shelter, safety, and stuff to get out of the elements. Now they no longer need to do any of that. All of that is satisfied. They're in the house. They got free meals all day, every day. They don't have to work for it. They don't have to walk and run and chew and do anything for it. They don't have to do nothing but just sleep and eat. That puts you into a whole nother new level of complexity that you can't just say assert your said dominance and force that animal to want to listen to you anymore. You have to do something much different. And that comes down to who you are as a person and what you're willing and able to and capable of being able to do. That's what's going to make them want to be able to listen to you. Because again, someone may say the wolf is living a better life, or the dog is, saying the dog is living a better life than a wolf because it's got food and got all this. But the biggest thing is the dogs are no longer getting stimulated. When they go for a hunt, they don't just go for a half-mile walk around the block and go get the elk or go get the rabbit. No, they are on a mission. They are on a mission to find. They are walking, running, walking pretty much all day long. They are on the move all day long, moving and going. that is such an easy life for an animal because it's able to actually get all of its needs met. Where our dogs in our houses are not getting our needs met because they are already getting the food. They didn't have to do no work for it. They didn't have to do anything. And that puts them in a level of what I could say is it starts to give them anxiety and depression because they're not able to, Ophi, we're not going over there. It starts to, oh, they just put in a nice little volleyball court. But they no longer have to do any effort. So they do no effort and get food. They do no effort and get shelter. That's going to drive them absolutely insane because they just don't have anything at all to do. They have nothing to do but just forced to sleep all day. So you wonder why that dog is going to start to absolutely flip out. This is something that I could just simply say with us humans. The more that we are doing nothing because we no longer need to survive, that we're thriving, the more anxiety we have, the more depression we have, the more people are committing suicide today even, the more things are just getting crazy because we no longer have to get up and do something all day to just be able to eat tonight. We got a meal. Pretty much everybody. And shoot, even being homeless in this country, you got a meal tonight. In most places, you got a place to be able to stay. That's fairly safe. Even if you're on the streets, it's still fairly safe being here. You're not too worried about a mass mob of gangs coming up and just taking all your stuff and going crazy through you. That's just not the norm. There's the one-off here and there, but we live in such a thriving society that we no longer are having to like do to get. We could just do something so simple and be able to have meals. I mean, unfortunately, some people don't do anything for a meal. You don't put no effort into it and you're able to just eat. That's going to cause people to go through extreme problems, extreme chaos in your mind because you're not doing anything. You're just sitting around doing nothing at all. And this is the part with me when someone says, oh, we don't need to exercise the dog, that's pointless. That's me listening to someone that's asserting their dominance and forcing it in a level of fear and not caring about the other being that's around them. They don't care about their needs, their wants, their desires. They only care about what they want. And that is just extremely toxic in the end. And that's the part with, I would hope that especially, oh my goodness, talk about a dog for a second, but especially coming down into some interpersonal relationships with a man trying to find himself a wife, to never ever think that my wife should and needs to submit to me. She should want to, because that's just the natural desire in her to want to be able to do to you. It shouldn't be a level of force, and it shouldn't be a level of oh man, what's that good word right there? A level of, I can't think of the word right there. But basically, I have to add extra words if I can't say that word. Basically being a given that she's supposed to do that because you're a man. And because she's a woman, that she's supposed to be like that. That is just a horrible way that we are looking at this planet. That things should just work that way because of a gender, because of a title, because of a role, because of a position. No, you earn people to want to be willing to submit because of the troubles and the trials and the problems and the chaos and the things that you've gone through, to prove to them that we're good, everything is fine. That's where this dog here, my Kahi, came to want to submit to me, because we went through such chaos. We went through such problems. We went through just like the most maddening stuff possible. Him freaking out at everything, him barking at everything, him just going absolutely crazy. I didn't give up. I didn't get short-tempered. I didn't get quick to anger. I just kept going. And he looked at me and said, buddy, you're the leader that I want to follow. You got it. Take the lead. I'm good. I'm going to take the back seat. And I said, cool. This is where we are now. It's not that I forced him, because when I first got him, that's what I was doing, was forcing it. You better shut up. You better sit down. You better get down. And we weren't getting anywhere at all. As soon as I put it on him to say, do you even want, because this is the language I said, do you even want to listen to me? Because why should you listen to me if you don't want to listen to me? And then, man, that's a change that I've seen that is just absolutely incredible, to be able to allow something to want to listen, to want to submit, not be forced to submit. Thank you. I don't know what it is about folks and these animals. I think that something that I greatly being able to appreciate being able to do, that I just noticed that unfortunately most people just don't do. Because as much as I'm like, man, I want another Dalmatian, or I want another Shepherd, or I want another Border Collie, I don't want the same dogs. I want completely different dogs. because every single one is different. If all I worked was just bully breed dogs and like just those type dogs, I wouldn't have an understanding of how to work with another one that is like not saying this, but on a average, most all bully breed dogs are like slow. I don't want to use that word in being disrespectful, but just saying they're not high active. They're not like high strung. They're not just on the go. Anybody that has ever had, especially a border collie or Aussie or a Kelpie in these dogs, when you look into their eyes, you see a dog that's like on a freaking mission. It's like let's go, like all day long. There's no just time that the dog's like, yeah, let me just sleep for 8 hours. The dog's like, I want to go. Their eyes just are like bursting with like, I got to do something. Where I see bully breed dogs and their eyes are just like, I kind of just want to go lay on the couch. So if all you're working with is like the same type dogs and you've never lived, this is the thing. It's different working with a dog. It's different living with the dog. When you live with the dog, you get to experience everything. When you're just there for an hour or two trying to help somebody, you're not really getting the whole understanding of what's actually going on here. You're just seeing little glimpses. But when you get these dogs that are like your bully breed dogs that are all kind of just more lit, just chill, lay back, just hanging out, not on the go all the time. And then you say that you're the expert and know how to work with, like say this Dalmatian here. You're doing yourself a disservice to others to try to actually help them out and give them, say, like solid quality advice. Because the methods that I would use on, say, my dog like Johnny, I don't walk the guy. I walk him around the house. So I say I walk him around the block and he good to go. I do not need to walk that dog 5 miles a day, even 2 miles a day. I do not need to walk that dog and take that dog to outdoor adventures like every week. Like once a month, every other month, I could take him to the lake and he'd go for a walk and he good. I don't need to do anything with that dog. And that's the only dog that I had, well, that is the dog I took from dog training school, saying that I know what I'm doing. If that's the only dog I work with, I would be at a huge disadvantage of trying to work with someone saying that your dog's going to be the same as this if you do the same stuff as me, and you have a dog like my Dalmatian right now. I would be setting you up for absolute failure, saying, oh, don't worry about exercising, it's fine, just let it sleep and let it hang, and you just control it and tell it what to do and you force it to calm down and it'll calm down. The dog is going to start to get what I was saying earlier. It's going to start getting anxiety. It's going to start having problems. It's going to start having issues because it has something inside of it that it needs to do and it's not getting it out. I see this from so many dogs. They have something they need to do and they can't get it out. And that's why our dogs today are turning into the same as us as humans. They're having such a more challenging life because they are not doing anything at all that a dog is supposed to be doing. They're not hunting for their food anymore. They're not walking around and moving animals anymore. They're not clearing out the barns and getting the snakes and the rabbits and the rats and the mice out. They're not doing anything anymore. Absolutely nothing. But yet inside of them, they still have all of that they need to do. I rarely ever see somebody that has an issue with the dog that's like my Johnny. I had issues with him because I was doing the obedience. You sit down, shut up, and don't speak. Sit down, I'm telling you what to do, you don't have a choice. As soon as I let that go, I have almost a zero level of problem with that dog because he has no drive, no work, no nothing behind him. He's just a lazy pet dog is what I would say. But when it comes down to the people that I see that have the most problems, have dogs like these two in front of me right now, dogs that are on the go, dogs that are on mission, dogs that have something in them that they have to do. If I just leave these dogs locked up in the house, I never take them on adventures, I never take them for a walk, I never let them run, I never let them chase anything, these two dogs will end up probably killing each other inside of the house. And one will probably start getting some OCD behaviors of chewing on itself, chewing up the walls, chewing up the furniture, chewing up all my baseboards in the house. It will start to turn into that really fast. And it's something that if someone is saying the dog don't need to be walking and moving, they've never dealt with or lived with a dog that has this energy, because you don't get to see the problems that are going on with it, that it can't settle down and it can't sit down. Tell me that I'm gonna take this Dalmatian, just have her stay in the house and take her for a walk around the block half a mile every day and think that you're gonna have a dog in the house that's gonna be just calm, polite, and pretty. I would just love for someone to prove that and show that, because I'm just going to guarantee you that is not going to happen. That is not going to happen. You're going to have to leave that dog in a crate all day. You're going to have, and even if you do that, that's where the dog will start to do crazy stuff, chewing on the crate, trying to break out of the crate, chewing on itself. It's going to do crazy things. When it gets out of the crate, it's going to want to start to chew on you. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. And that's the thing that a lot of people have problems with a lot of shepherds, a lot of Australian shepherds, a lot of border collies, a lot of these dogs. They can't do anything with the dog because the dog has so much energy that you can't just force it to calm. You can't just say, stop that. You better sit down. I'm telling you to sit down. That is, in my opinion, straight up evil to the core of what evil is all about. Because that's not going to go anywhere, but keep making things keep getting worse and worse and worse. You're just boiling it up, boiling it up, boiling it up. And that's what, unfortunately, most all of dog stuff, dog training, dog talking, dog everything, people try to tell you to do with your dog. You force it on that place bed and you force it to calm down and you'll make it stay there. And if it doesn't stay there, you give it a correction, you tell it to stay there and it'll calm down. You're dealing with a problem that's going to blow up one day. And what always happens on that blow up is when you are wanting to get rid of the dog because it puts its mouth on you. It just always does that. I don't know, not always, but it always does that. It puts its mouth on you because it has no choice, because it has all of this amped up energy that it's not able to get out, and it just has to release. It just has to. It has no choice. And that's the part that I wish that people would just really understand. You got your lazy dog. You don't need nothing. Like, you don't need no obedience. Don't even worry about it. Just enjoy your dog. Take it for a walk around the block and just have fun with it. But people do not have problems with those dogs. It's the dogs that with these high energy dogs, and some are more intense and some are less. And we force some to be even more intense because of the games that we play with the silly obedience stuff that we're doing with them. We're forcing them to get even more intense. And all you're doing is creating just an absolute nightmare inside of your home, as opposed to a calm animal. And it's something that I wish that everyone just look at your dog. Don't worry about someone else's dog, but look at your dog and figure out, like, what does this dog need? What does this dog desire? That's the start of when your dog is going to want to submit to you, when it realizes that you're looking out for the best of it and not trying to just shut it down.